So, to tell us the backstory of the changes and challenges that make up the Airport 4.0 for all airports, please welcome.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. It's really great to be up here among the living after 2 years of Teams meetings in the kitchen with the dog barking behind me. I'm really thrilled to be here with you all this afternoon to represent DFW Airport, to talk about some of the exciting things that are happening, but more importantly, what the future looks like. So thank you very much for coming here. It's an honor for me to be here and to represent DFW. So the agenda for my presentation, they told me I was going to get lunch. They told me I could talk about whatever I want to. A little bit of that is me. It's not quite as interesting as DFW, but hey, it's my show, right? I'm going to talk about what Airport 4.0 means, some of the things we've done to move towards that, and then what are the next steps? How are we going to get there? And then maybe some ways some of the partners in the room might be able to help us. So, sound good? About DFW and me. So Jen actually covered some of this, but I jokingly call this the big airplane ranch. It was genius by the folks here in the region who decided to plop a large airport between Dallas and Fort Worth, 2.5 hours from any other airport in the lower 48. So we have a strategic advantage based on our geographic location. We also have 7 runways, huge cargo business. Americans are a dominant carrier, but we pretty much, we serve a wide range of domestic and international carriers, a growing list of domestic and international destinations, 5 terminals, 168 gates. But back to the city, not only are we our own land mass, we have our own zip code. And in fact, my mail goes to DFW Airport. I think what is that, like a 75061 or something? I don't know. But not just airplanes, we're a multimodal transportation hub. We've got rapid transit connecting, bus service, our own fleet of buses, which I'll talk about in a bit, and we're a huge driver of the local economy. We have, I don't have my badge, but we have not just the 2,000 DFW employees, but about 50,000 badge holders, everything from airlines, concessionaires, cargo folks. So it's truly a small, complex city, and that's what I get excited about because it's a wide array of technology that really makes all that run. Kind of getting to our IT folks, there's 200 different systems that run the airport. We've got your typical, things that you're going to find in any corporation, your ERP, your mail, that kind of stuff. But we have some really specialized technologies, like things that guide aircraft to the gate, or a system to manage our parking business, a complex concessions business. I mean, we're the 5 terminals you can think of as like 5 mini shopping malls where planes have to take off and land. So there's a lot of complexity there. We also have a lot of operational technology, baggage handling, access control, and so as a result of that, cybersecurity is always at the forefront, rapidly turning my hair red from gray. But we deal with criminal justice data, payment card industry, and other compliance issues. We own and operate 2 data centers on our campus. This is not something I'm mentioning because I'm proud of it. I'd like to sell them to you if you're interested. I don't think it's a business we should be in. I told our CEO we have 4 Hyatts on our property, but if you go to one, you won't have a DFW employee check you in or make your bet. And I think data centers are the same thing. There's folks who can do it better, faster, cheaper than we can. From an IT perspective, we got a team of about 140 DFW employees. 60 of those are contractors, allows us to kind of ramp up and ramp down. 5 assistant vice presidents, 1 over application delivery and development, compliance, and cybersecurity, enterprise systems, and then enterprise infrastructure and operations, as well as a project and program management group. So pretty big team, but there's a lot of technology that we're either keeping up and running or we're implementing new systems. About me, 26 years doing this stuff. My background's in geographic information systems. So imagine this, my first job, do you remember this company called Rand McNally? They used to make paper maps. That's how old I am. I was on a team that digitized paper maps. It's not as glamorous as it sounds, trust me. But I've been a CIO for 9 years, almost 5 here at DFW. Before that, I had a similar position at Sky Harbor Airport in Phoenix. I have 3 daughters and a wife who's a therapist. So I'm, let's say, pretty in tune with my many personality deficiencies. And no one, it's so great to have a captive audience because at home no one listens. But you know, for a lot of reasons, it's really hard for me to imagine working anywhere other than an airport or in the aviation industry. It's just very dynamic. And what really gets me out of bed in the morning is I think there's a huge opportunity through effective use of technology to really transform how we run the airport, but more importantly, the experience you have as you navigate through our facilities. All right, what is Airport 4.0? Sounds important, right? So taken from Industry 4.0, but it's really about the progression to a fully automated airport experience. And so starting back, you know, you can envision paper tickets and some, you know, crusty person checking you in or whatever, but fully analog, long lines. Then we started to move towards some self-service, the ability to check yourself in, optimizing some of the processing of passengers and those tasks. And then we're kind of, I think, right a little bit past 3.0. We've done a lot of digitization that I'll talk about, focus on data and analytics, but we're really, and we'll admittedly say that we've got some work to do, but we really are focused on trying to improve the passenger experience and make it as frictionless as possible. And so what does Airport 4.0 look like? Full digitization, full automation, excuse me, really excellent passenger experience. Of course, we're not there, but that's what we're moving towards. So, as part of that, we have a digital strategy. Digital transformation, that's a new exciting term, right? We're all undergoing some form of digital transformation. I feel like I should get a bonus if I mention, you know, digital transformation 5 times during this presentation. You'll take me seriously, right? But no, I mean, when I hear digital transformation, it sure seems like a job security for me. I get very excited about it. But we defined our digital strategy for how we're going to achieve digital transformation. But we built it around 4 pillars: customer service, really eliminating those points of friction on the journey; internal operations, I mean, we have a huge team supporting everything from public safety, security, airfield operations, so automating that, making those data-driven, not reacting so much, but moving to a predictive state. We have a lot of partners, not only federal, but airlines, concessionaires, so making it an ecosystem where it's easy to do business and interact with us. And then how we work. We're a quasi-government entity, so some things we do still make you scratch your head. But you know, really, you know, making it a business-friendly place to do business with us, but also streamlining our processes so that we can be more effective and focus on what's really important. All right, digital transformation, that's exciting. So just want to give you a flavor of some of the things we've been up to. Biometric Exit. So we were one of the first airports, at least in the US, to do this. But If you fly internationally out of DFW now, your face is your boarding pass. So we've got, and I'll show you the picture here, but a nice elegant solution that we implemented, working with the Customs and Border Patrol. When we capture your face, we do a match against your passport to validate that it's you. And so the beauty of this is, other than it looks really cool, is that it allows the gate agents to really focus on customer service and not having to do manual document checks. And we found through our testing that we can board an aircraft, some of the large wide bodies, in 50% less time than before we implemented this solution. So this has been a great feature for our international passengers. Okay. So you may not know, we've got a large fleet of buses that operate at the airport, going from our rental car center, going between terminals, going out to remote parking facilities. And as our executive vice president slammed down his phone in 2018, he said, I can track my daughter in Los Angeles, but I can't track a bus at DFW. Well, we've solved that problem, and not just to make him happy, but for a couple reasons. One, we wanted to be able to optimize our operation, so we're not just sending the bus every 10 minutes, hoping somebody will get on. So being able to optimize the routing more effectively, but for you as a customer, we're going to be in the near future. Oh, how perfect, DFW called me right at the time. As a customer, we'll be able to see as you emerge from the terminal when you can expect the next bus to arrive, whether you're going to the rental car facility or one of our remote lots. So pretty exciting stuff. Oh, and that's just kind of a map view, because I'm a geeky map guy. I love watching buses and airplanes move around on map in real time. It's pretty cool stuff. But just showing you, like you expect with Uber these days, you're going to see, how far your vehicle is away to pick you up. I mean, that's just the expectation that our travelers have. All right. The other nice feature that we've implemented is what we call a security checkpoint wait time. If you don't know, we have 16 security checkpoints, and this is arguably the biggest point of friction for the passengers, and more on how we'll reduce that later. But the first step is just to provide information to relieve some of that anxiety. So you see the displays up there, so we display it in real time, you know what you're getting yourself into. But ideally, we want you to access that information before you leave home, as you pull into the garage. Because the beauty of DFW and having our Skylink train, you can park in any terminal. As an example, C is constantly full, but park at B. Go through security, get on the Skylink, stop and have a drink as well. Very nice experience, but it's about getting that information to you on your fingertips. Oh, and by the way, we can help TSA maybe optimize their staffing as well, but we're working on that. And this is just showing the solution. It's a Swiss company called Zovis, but you can kind of see in the left corner there, that's a visual. So there's LiDAR sensors that cover the checkpoint, and then we put geofences around the various lines. So you got your general boarding, pre-check, etc., and then we're able to provide a real, in real time, the estimated wait from when you enter the queue until when you exit. And the exciting thing is, we've got a couple of years worth of data on this now, so we even offer a predictive feature that's putting together flight data, historic information, and we've gotten pretty good at predicting what you can expect if you put, what time you're flying, what checkpoint you're going to be going through. So really cool stuff. All right. One of the biggest things, and I'm just really proud to have been associated with this, is we built an integrated operations center. So back in the day, if you needed to call DFW, there were several call centers you'd have to make contact with. Depending on your issue, you might get bounced around. So we built an integrated operations center. The idea was, one facility, cross-functional team, airline partners, federal partners. So when we have incidents, we've got all the right people, whether it's an outage in the baggage handling system, an issue with Skylink, or one of those weird freak winter weather events that we have here. We've got everybody in the room with the data they need to manage an event effectively. So as part of that, and where I come in, is we deployed a lot of new technology to support that. So part of that was a new phone system, one single point of contact for DFW to respond to any issues, but also technology that I'll show here to support incident response. Oh, actually, I have some nice renderings first. Pardon me. So that's, I think I went, so that's the front of the facility. Nice building there, brand new, as of April 2021. This guy looks like he's like playing a video game on his phone. He's not doing something right. He should be focusing on his display. But anyway, what I'm really trying to show here is the displays. The idea is we put in a display technology that provides real-time key performance indicator or the health of our key systems and processes. So we know the wait time at the checkpoints. We've got video cameras in key locations, and we're monitoring that and providing situational awareness. This is a tool we call our Situational Awareness platform that we've implemented. And so you've got various facilities, processes, sorry, that's probably hard to see, but then a map. And being a map guy, I often think about the airport. When I think about the airport, I see a map. And I oftentimes think that the success, or will have really done something big, when we can visualize on a map, aircraft, buses, people flow, status of assets, weather, all those things that can impact the performance of an airport in real time. So that's kind of, in my view, kind of what we're working towards, and to a large degree what Airport 4.0 means. But that's the situational awareness platform. Not only does it give you kind of the real-time health of the airport, but if there are incidents, we have to dispatch folks, and manages all that process for us. Okay. Oh, Airfield vehicle tracking. So what I'm kind of building this a little bit, what do you call it when you kind of steal the thunder? Anyway, I'm building towards, we're putting out a lot of sensors out there, all over the place. And just recently on airfield vehicles, because it's real messy when they crash into aircraft or run into each other, and the FAA doesn't like us, and sometimes writes us fines. So what we've done is put in, the industry term is a runway incursion warning system, but it's a nice solution. So the vehicles are tracked in GPS, and then the aircraft, we have a surface, it's called the air surface radar. So through one portal, we can see the aircraft moving on our runways and taxiways in real time, and these are our vehicles. And so we have that visibility of what's happening out there. Was there a question, sir?
I was wondering if those vehicles are autonomous yet.
No, but that would be 4.0. But we have done some trials of autonomous vehicles. It's definitely coming, and there are very good use cases at airports, like moving your bag from point A to point B, where autonomous vehicles will be coming in the future. And I have this super cool video. The audio is more impressive, but this is what happens. You notice it was green. Right now, not only are you getting a visual indicator, but there's a loud siren that scared the holy bejesus out of this guy because he was about to go out onto an active taxiway. So, but you know, over 500 sensors that we've installed on vehicles that go out on our airfield. Okay, so we've made it to 3.0 and we're working our way towards 4.0. So really what that means is, what's the future look like? What are we working on? What are we thinking about that's going to take that next step? Well, if you remember from that earlier slide, this move to 4.0 really depends on connectivity. And I'll confess here amongst friends, this is something we probably needed to start on a little bit earlier, but through some trial and error, we've learned that we just don't have the connectivity, in particular wireless connectivity we need on our campus. So we're going to do that. And of course, all that wireless connects back to a wired connection, right? And believe it or not, about a year or so ago, we only had one connection out to the internet. And we're doing more in the cloud. So we put in a redundant fiber connection, so we've got some more resiliency there. We have a Wi-Fi system in our terminals, and it was really designed for the passengers to be in gatehold areas, in concession areas where passengers are going to be. And when we've tried to use it for operational purposes, we just haven't had the coverage that we need. So we need to do something about that. Maria Brackenridge from our innovation department just completed a pilot of a private CBRS network. So we think that is a play in the future to start to build out comprehensive coverage on our campus. We're going to be releasing an RFP at the end of this month. But we want to get coverage out on the airfield so we can track vehicles, we can put wireless surveillance cameras on our perimeters. There's just a ton of use cases. And then at the apron's the area immediately where the aircraft basically joins to a passenger boarding bridge where you make that connection. And there's just a ton of activity where we're not able to get good metrics today because we don't have the sensors, and we don't have the sensors because we don't have good connectivity. So the message is the sensors are coming, but we can't have them without connectivity. So that's a big focus of our strategy, and hence why I've done 2022 the year of connectivity. Okay. Oh, nice shot. This was me last week scanning bags. The guys from American politely encouraged me to leave so they could get their work done. And I apparently wasn't fast enough. But the devices they were using on the CBRS network were very fast, especially in some areas where there was no coverage, basically making them ineffective. So really exciting pilot, and we're excited to move forward with providing the connectivity to meet our future needs. Okay, so another big emphasis for us is becoming a data-driven organization. Because we're a small city, we have these very different lines of business, everything from law enforcement to concessions to airfield operations. Everybody's got their system, and they kind of know their data in a silo. But historically, airports haven't really, saw data as an asset and leveraged it to run their operations and business more effectively. We've had a program underway, we call it Enterprise Data Liberation, and that's to identify all our key data resources, make them centrally available in a data warehouse, data lake, whatever we call those these days, but make it available for reporting and analytics. So we know how delays in the New York area will impact DFW and how that might impact our staffing and operations of our bus, and so how all of that starts to fit together. One smart thing we've done is that if we're going to go out and get capital funding for, for a new system that's going to collect data, we're going to build in the funding to get the data acquisition. So that's kind of baked into all of our future initiatives. The other thing we've done is sat down with each line of business and said, hey, what are your key performance indicators? How do you define success? Okay, good. Now where's that data come from? Well, maybe they have data, they don't, maybe it requires some installation of sensors, but really working through that process of making them understand how they can leverage the data assets we have to be either more efficient in their operations or increase revenue or reduce costs. And there's a big focus on data literacy. We want to get away from the business of folks coming to IT, I need a report, we don't understand your data as well as you do, it takes us a week to turn it around, it's not right, we start over again, but really getting analysts embedded in the line of business who understand how to utilize data and make sense of it for their business. And this is just kind of showing our ecosystem. We've recently moved to Snowflake as a cloud-based data warehouse. Tableau is our primary reporting tool. We use Informatica for extract, transform, and load from operational systems into our Snowflake. And then we also use MuleSoft for just a ton of integrations we do between key systems, moving data back and forth. Man, how am I doing on time? Am I all right? Everybody still awake? You with me? You want to stand up, stretch out? Okay. Now it's going to start getting really cool because we're making that future. We're really starting to go into the future. So we're investing in a technology called digital twin. Digital twin is software, platform, whatever you want to call it. Came out of manufacturing, but basically taking any kind of physical asset or process and creating a digital representation of it. And the joke about airports, well, there's a lot. But you've seen one airport, you've seen one airport is one. But the other one is airports are construction sites where planes happen to take off and land. So we're constantly building, remodeling. And so digital twin is a great way. So first of all, it's a tool. We take that 3D data that's developed during the design and construction process, and then feed that into the model. And then it gets really cool, because then we start to integrate with some of our operational systems, so we can kind of visualize that in real time. And so we're slowly kind of building out this, twin of our campus that's fully digital. And so the goal there is really, to provide real-time awareness of what's going on from our facilities, but also, what historical data and how we can kind of measure that, understand it, and get to a predictive state. So I have more cool videos. So this was the first Runway digital twin we developed. And beyond the 3D, which is very nice, we're drilling into a weather station here, clicking on it so you can get, there's other assets that we've linked, like Airfield electric lights, so we can get the status, but we're pulling back data in real time, and then we're able to also view that kind of historical time series data. So really, really cool technology. And beyond cool, has a lot of benefit in the future, and we're going big in this investment. This is our twin of Terminal D. So our Vice President of Environment and Sustainability, I should have mentioned at the beginning that we were the first carbon neutral airport. So part of the justification of this is being able to integrate with our building automation, building control systems to understand their behavior, to really optimize the performance, so we're maximizing our energy utilization, maintaining a comfortable facility. Did you have a question, sir?
Yeah, the digital twin is a huge undertaking.
It is.
Who actually did this for you, and do you own it, or do you use it?
We, ownership, that's a complex question now, isn't it? So we own the data. And what we've done is we had a significant capital construction project to rehabilitate one of our runways. As part of that, we funded the scanning to create the 3D model, which 10 years ago was a difficult undertaking, but is much more cost effective today. But there's a lot of work behind the scenes linking to the airfield lighting system, HVAC system. So we're doing all that. The software platform we use is called Willow. So we went through a competitive process and arrived at that as the best solution to meet our needs. But yes, you're right, it's a big undertaking. But there's a lot of value there.
So eventually, how is this integrated? Is integrated by your organization or something?
Yeah, so I kind of, Mike's opinion here, right? I own the IT guts of it, which is the data, the integrations, but the real owners, if you will, are our design code construction group who do all the building, but then also our facility group, they're known as energy, transportation, and asset management. They keep everything running. So as we build this out, they're the true beneficiaries of knowing the performance of assets in real time and being, ideally, getting to the point where we can predict a failure before it happens, or when a likely failure will happen. So I can't leave for my next job until I fix the parking system at DFW. I've dealt with parking systems at 2 airports. They're all evil. Find an airport CIO who likes their parking system, I'll give you $1,000. So here's the thing. You all, who's a NTTA, who's got an NTTA toll tag? Yeah, pretty much all of you. And you zip around and there's no arm blocking you, right? And then you come to my airport and I stop you. And you're probably wondering why.
And most people don't know how to get through. And you don't want to pull all the way in if somebody's there. Because if they don't know how to get through, then you have to back.
Well, that's true, because you get people who, they're going to go through there one time in their life.
Yes.
And they get to that big plaza, and it's scary.
It just stops.
It's scary.
Is that like an FAA thing? Like if you're pulling into a private airport, you have to wait till the gate shuts?
I'm going to explain that to you, sir. So, who's been to Atlanta Airport? Okay. Do they have a toll plaza? No. The parking controls are at the garages. Okay. If you go to LAX, Phoenix, Tampa, pick your airport, they don't have a toll plaza or a tollway running through the middle of the airport. So you all, as customers, expect to have no barrier. Now, why do we put a barrier there? Because you could have parked there for 3 months on your super 20-year trip with your wife, and you've run up quite a bill, and call up Jen. Say, Jen, I need you to drive into the airport, and we're going to swap tickets, because I don't want to pay my $200 bill. So they're really there for fraud prevention, because there are some elaborate schemes that happen so people don't have to pay their full tab. Whereas the NTTA, if you're going through one of their plazas or whatever they call them, it's going to be $6. They write off a certain percentage of that. So that's really the difference. Now, having said that, I don't expect you to eat lima beans, sir. And what I mean by that is it needs to be faster. So we're working towards barrierless, that's the end game. But in the meantime, as a toll tag customer, why should you have to wait? You shouldn't, because we detect your toll tag is valid, and the reason why we're making you wait is because we're matching your license plate from entry to your license plate at exit. We're calculating your fee. That takes about 3, 4, 5 seconds, which seems like an eternity at the end of a long trip. And then the gate arm. There's no need to do that, because guess what? That data is going to sit there until the next hour, and then we're going to send it over to the NTTA, and they're going to bill you, and then send us a check. So the point being, for our toll tag customers, we're working on a way where you read your toll tag, it just goes right up. So that's you know, talk about friction. That's a big point of friction on our campus that, trust me, I know about. I'm the guy, you know, as soon as I hear I work at DFW, are you responsible for that? Well, yeah. But anyway, and the other thing is we have, I would encourage you, an online reservation system that's really easy to use. So you go online, and guess what? They give you a discount too, a little inside tip here. If you go there and book early, you'll pay less than if you just kind of show up. And it's easy. And by the end of the summer, your license plate will be your credential, meaning that you don't have to interact with anybody. You don't have to touch anything. You're just going to go through. So, we're not there. I feel the glare of the parking system, but hope is on the way. I promise you that. Should I just drop the mic? Well, I'm not quite done yet. How am I doing on time? Good. Okay, cool. So I'm showing here because there's just, I mean, that's what I get really excited about, because we are just on the cusp of some exciting things that are going to transform your experience, and hopefully you're going to help my compensation a little bit. But automation of security, I mean, that's like, oh my goodness, I got to take my shoes off. Like, why does that lady in front of me not have socks? And like, that's not a therapy animal, or whatever. You know, you've been in that checkpoint, you're confined. And it can be easier. I think I got a video of Dubai. No, I don't. In Dubai, you just walk through this tunnel, and they scan you, and you don't have to take anything out. That technology is coming. You're still going to have to go through the scanner, but you're not going to have to take everything out of your bag and take your shoes off. So all that's coming soon. So automation of security, anything we can do. Also, digital identity, they already have it in Phoenix. No need to pull out this crusty old driver's license and show it to the guy. In fact, we don't even need the guy. We're just gonna take a picture of your face, and you're either in or you're out. You're gonna match it to your boarding pass. So that's coming in the next few years. Video analytics, we are deploying a technology called BriefCam. We have, I don't know, 4,000, imagine this. Not only are we 26 square miles, 4,000 cameras just watching all the time, the roads, the security checkpoint. But they're dumb cameras. Somebody, you know, if there's an issue, somebody has to sit down and go through all this video and try to piece it together. The technology's there to find your lost bag, to track that suspicious looking guy through the terminal, to monitor the collection. Doesn't he? Doesn't he?
Now that you said that.
But that's, that's coming. We are implementing the technology later this summer. Just a wide range of use cases for video analytics. Autonomous vehicle, Maria's done some pilots of a vehicle out at our remote parking facilities, but there's going to be more of that. You can envision a future of the rental car bus being completely autonomous, robots taking your bags from the plane to the pickup location, to the bag. It's coming, especially because it's hard to hire people these days, right? So we got automates, and really getting to predictive operations. So the other big one I want to solve as a fairly frequent traveler. Have you ever flown in and you're at the gate, but nothing's happening? Do you know why that is? Because we still have to have someone come down and drive the passenger boarding bridge and connect that to the aircraft. There's been automated solutions for that for a couple years now. They're using it in Europe and Asia. It's just getting a little people here a little more comfortable with, but that's coming as well. Just reducing all that friction wherever we can. All right. So A lot of stuff going on. I really wanted to focus on the stuff that, either the cool airport stuff or the things that you guys experience as a passenger. But we're trying to become more efficient in the way that we interact with stakeholders, how we run our business, and we call that automating how we work. But some of the things that are going on, we're automating our procurement solution, so makes it easier for you to submit, know where you stand at in the process, easier to do business with us, get information. We're upgrading, I'm embarrassed to say this, but we have Oracle e-business. I think it's from, I don't know, 1979 or something. It's very dated, and upgrading that to a modern platform. Got to give my plug for Appian as a low-code platform, and we've just automated a ton of things with Appian. The other thing that airports are is we inspect everything. We inspect fire extinguishers, we inspect the airfield lights, we inspect grease traps, we inspect the concessionaires. And so we have a variety of inspection applications for our diverse line of business that we've developed in the Appian low-code platform. And faster exit transactions at the parking plaza. Wouldn't that be nice? So anyway, hope I stayed on time. Hope that was interesting. Thank you for listening to me. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
So there's quite a few runways at DFW. Is there any way to integrate with the aircraft controllers to land on the right side of the airport that your gate's on, so you don't have to
So a lot of that, believe it or not, is driven by wind direction. So you take off into the prevailing wind and you land in the opposite direction. So the flow of the airport is really dictated by that. But we are actually working with NASA, providing them some data to help with airfield optimization. Again, that's another, you feel like, hey, you landed, and 20 minutes later you pull up to your gate. So anything we can do to optimize that, we are looking at some opportunities there. Yes, sir.
A quick one. How do I, first of all this technology is great, so thank you for this presentation. Does it cost my wallet to do it when I come to it?
Excellent question. And so, yes, but let me explain how. Anytime you take off from an airport in the United States, on your ticket is what's called a passenger facility charge. So that's, it's a small amount, it's a fraction of your ticket, but that's our cost that we recoup from the airlines to provide the facilities on their behalf. So indirectly, you do pay for some of that. But the cool thing and what brought me to DFW is we're not just an airport.